My name is Anna MacDonald Golightly. I am the Badger Creek Lake Watershed Project Coordinator. I work for the Madison County Soil and Water Conservation District. One of the things I do as a Watershed Project Coordinator is work with farmers and landowners to get conservation practices on their farms. And so a lot of times that's going out to the farm to do a field visit. Sometimes it's doing the paperwork associated with signing up for cost share for putting in these conservation practices. I'll help the technician survey and lay out conservation practices. And by conservation practices, I'm thinking of things like terraces, grassed waterways, ponds. I haven't always been involved in agriculture. I grew up in Des Moines. We had family members who had farms, and so we spent time out on farms when we were visiting them, but I wouldn't consider myself really being involved in agriculture until about 2010, when I started grad school at Iowa State, and I was working on the STRIPS project, which stands for Science-Based Trials of Row Crops Integrated with Prairie Strips. And my job was to look at how birds were responding to having these strips of habitat within crop fields. And so during my field work, doing bird surveys, I was spending a lot more time in corn and soybean fields, and I was spending more time with the farmer who was farming those research plots. And that's kind of, I guess, when I would consider myself starting to get involved and a lot more interested in agriculture. One of the parts of my job that I really enjoy is the educational aspect of it. And I'm sometimes trying to be careful about using the word education because I'd hate for farmers to think that, like, I'm here to educate you, when so often they are the ones educating me and I'm learning from them. But one of the things I do as far as outreach and education is trying to organize events. So I've tried to organize field days, meetings, partnered with other organizations that can help you organize those events to help us really all learn together. So it's not me educating anyone, it's all of us kind of on this journey, learning what's new or what we can do differently or better. So the biggest example of that would be with cover crops. I got these producers signed up for cover crops, and I didn't want to leave them high and dry, like, figure it out yourself now. So I've been tried to do a good job of trying to organize events so that they can get more information and make good management decisions.
My name is Brooke Blessington, and I'm the Executive Director at Iowa State University Extension and Outreach in Madison County. Anna has this reputation of being credible and having a deep level of expertise. And so the practices that Anna is putting into place on her own farm, she's also guiding others, and people believe Anna when she says that it's a worthwhile practice. People really respect Anna, and I think that her impact goes deeper than just the single drop that she adds. Anna is the bucket. Everybody comes back and talks to Anna, and they want to know what she thinks, and they want to know what she would recommend. And so I think that's really important to have that connection in the community.
And the other thing I've really enjoyed is opportunities to work with students. And so I was asked to go speak to a 4-H club earlier this year, and that was really fun. We go into the schools with the Egg for Kids Day program that our County Farm Bureau puts on. And being at the county fair, being at the Covered Bridge Festival, and those opportunities to answer people's questions. A lot of people are interested in water quality and have questions about it, so it's nice to have that conversation and be able to share information about it. So this spring I had an event, I called it Donuts and End Kits, and because when you're having meetings with farmers, you need to have snacks. And so I got Hertz Donuts, which is new in the area, so a lot of people hadn't had them yet, and it was like, oh, Hertz Donuts. And then, so I lured them in with the donuts, and then we gave them nitrogen testing kits. And even though that's not part of the impairment for this lake, it is something that can maybe show the benefits of using cover crops.
Anna is the perfect embodiment of the idea of servant leadership. Anna is really the boots on the ground when you talk about conservation practices or incorporating education. Anna really has those practices, and there isn't anything that she would recommend that she isn't interested in doing herself or hasn't learned quite a bit about.
The first thing I thought of when asked how am I having a positive impact on agriculture is I thought, well, actually, it's the other way around. I think agriculture has really been having a positive impact on me, not just the basics like, oh, I ate breakfast today, but I've found working in agriculture to be extremely rewarding. But part of that's probably because I feel like I can have a positive impact on agriculture too. So in general, as a watershed project coordinator, I'm working toward soil and water conservation, well, natural resources conservation in general. And so I think whatever I can contribute to making sure that our topsoil stays on the farm and that our waters stay clean for fish and other wildlife and humans to play in and fish in and drink. I think anything I can do to improve soil and water conservation and conservation of all of our natural resources, I think that's something positive. And so I guess I'm kind of maybe more in the background when I do that. I mean, really the true conservationists are the landowners and the producers. But if I can, be a resource for them, if they can come in and ask questions, we've got a lot of information and resources at our fingertips, and being able to address their questions, or if we can't, go look it up, figure it out. If I can provide that service of connecting people with information, I think that's a positive thing too. For young women or women of any age who are interested in becoming involved in agriculture, I would say there are a lot of opportunities to be involved. And part of that is because there's a lot of niches to fill. I think, maybe in the past, if you were to say, what's a farmer look like, or what does a watershed project coordinator look like, or a technician or an agronomist, like maybe people's first thought would be, a man. But what I see in my job is a lot of women filling those roles. And so I don't think there's any boundaries to the opportunities out there for young women.